Over 11 years at Otley Road, the move has put the club into a whole different position than it was at Gay Meadow.
I think that's quite accurate. When you think of where we were before we moved to Otley Road, I think we were a 97-year-old stadium. Average gates were 2,500. We couldn't get a safety certificate. And of course, the safety advisory group then put an 8,000 capacity because of the narrows. So the move to the new stadium, I think, has been the catalyst for us to progress in the way that we have.
If you look back at the last sort of 10, 11 years, the majority of that has been spent in League One, trips to Wembley, promotion, so it shows that the club has gone forward.
I think we had 4 trips to Wembley. I think we've been promoted twice. I think we've had Manchester United here, Chelsea here, West Ham. On top of that, we've had 3 concerts with world-renowned artists making their presence in Shropshire, which I think is testimony to the move to the new stadium.
I suppose that sort of highlights the stadium and what it can do. At Gay Meadow it was just football, but now the move is a whole different thing. The club is a whole different place.
I think some of the parts that you can forget, the elements that we had at the old club was, I think it was 4 or 5 telephones. We moved here and we went to a fully computerized telephone system with 35 to 40 telephones. Hospitality, we had 3 buffet bars. We moved to the stadium where we then had concourse catering, TVs, and then full 7-day hospitality packages which have helped to project the club and help it to evolve to where we are now.
When we speak to supporters, the general consensus is we're a mid-table League One club looking to push on. Would you agree with that?
Realistically, when we look at this, the club and how we can sustain it to be safe for the now and for the future, we average normally about 5,500. And to run a business and compete with Portsmouth, Sunderland, Blackburn, we have to be realistic, and I'm delighted that the fans generally believe that we should be around mid-table League One, but that doesn't stop us having the ambition. And I know I got ridiculed a few times when I mentioned that our desire was to go into the Championship, and I think we got really, really close to it last year, and that's what we want to keep doing, pushing the club forward and progressing.
Because last season showed, if it all comes together, we were so near to that sort of Championship goal.
I think for me personally and the supporters generally, to get to Wembley twice in a season and to lose them both, and then to lose the manager as we did and the circumstances we did, this season was always going to be tough. But we appointed John, and we did look at the background. We looked at everything he achieved at Macclesfield, and we felt that he would kick on here. But Brian and I quite soon recognised how much progress we've made over those last 12 years, last 12 months even. We didn't really feel that we were progressing in the same way, so we looked at the model that we've done. We brought in, I think we had to act quickly. People have criticised us because we appointed somebody with very little experience, but when we met him and we did our due diligence, I believe he will be a very, very good young modern manager, and I think if we had left it any longer, we may have missed out on somebody else coming in.
Looking back at those 11 years, is there one favourite season that stands out?
I've got to say last year particularly, but the first year with Graham Turner had taken me 15 years to bring him back to the club. We got promoted to League One for the first time since I've been chairman, and in his second season, and that proved to be a catalyst for the club moving forward. Graham was here for 3, and the 4th year he decided he didn't want to do. We tried everything to persuade him to stay. He decided to go, and that made us look at the way we do things here. If you remember, every signing, every player that was brought into the club was done by myself, with the manager and with the club secretary. That's all we had. When we got relegated, when Graham decided to retire, it did force us to re-look at the way that we do things. And we then looked at the chief executive coming from outside, bringing skills and experiences from other clubs. Matt Williams was here for 12 months. and he pushed the club forward. That, I think, generated the way that we now feel. Brian's come in 3 years ago. It's a pity it wasn't 20 years ago, because I think bringing his experience of 30 years in Scotland has helped the club to go forward, and we are evolving and progressing. And at this moment in time, off the field, we are very, very secure. We have no debt of any kind. We have a very positive cash balance in the bank. Off the field, I think this latest appointment will generate a very good second part of the season, after January, and hopefully we progress onwards. But there's no guarantees in this business.
I've always been passionate about the club being centre of the community, so I guess the move as well has allowed Shrewsbury Town and the community to grow. I guess that's another thing to be proud of.
I think when I became chairman in '96, there was two things that we really did. Was that we focused on the academy, and I can't say how much I've appreciated the people who've worked in and the progress we made, the players that have come through our academy who are playing now at the highest level, which is testimony to what we did. The community, if you remember, was just Brian Williams on his own doing these things. We've had a number of community managers, but I have to say Jamie Edwards has been phenomenal what he's achieved, and the way I went to the recent community dinner, and I thought I knew pretty well what was going on, but I was blown away with what we do now in the community and what Jamie has achieved and the hard work everybody does in that.
This season, well, we installed St Andrews, the first club in England and Wales. From your position, what have you made of it?
Well, everybody would know it's a matter that I was totally opposed to it. Obviously, because I've never been far seeing. Brian's came in and destroyed my all-seater stadium that took 15 years to build and develop. But I have to say, the publicity for what that, and the lift that is given to the supporters, and that sound that comes from there now is it's fully justified.
And again, final sort of question, where do you see the club in a few years?
I think if I had a crystal ball at this time, it would be very, very useful. I have been described, Father Time is something that I have to address. I have been described as being an aging chairman who's utterly frugal, which I believe is a positive thing, because the club, I'm only guardian of this football club. It's the fans' money, it's everybody, and we never waste a penny. So I believe we are in a really, really good place at the moment, and if I have to address succession, it's vitally important. But whilst I'm doing that, my desire for this football club to succeed will never diminish.
To finish with, a Christmas message to all the Sound fans around the world.
And there are a lot in all different places around the globe. And yet I'd like to wish everyone, all their families and everyone connected with Shrewsbury Town, a very, very Merry Christmas and a good New Year.